Hello everyone, I'm Haru. Today I have a guest. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
I'm Teacher Lee and I work here in the Yaisu branch.
That's it?
Yes. You have to come and see me to know more about me.
So I guess you're English professional?
Yes, for over a decade.
Over decades?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
Oh.
That's something I'm proud of.
You may be much better than me.
No, there's still a lot of things to learn, you know.
So today, I actually want to talk about English learning because I usually upload a video, where I talk about how to improve, especially TOEIC score. So many of my subscribers may be interested in improving their speaking skill or other English skills as well. And as you mentioned, of course, you're English teacher. You've been English teacher for decades, right?
Yes.
So the best topic between us may be English.
Of course.
Where are you from?
So I'm from the Philippines, though I did stay for almost a decade in the Cebu Island, but that is not actually my hometown. So I'm from Davao City, so like the most southern part of the Philippines.
When I hear the word Philippines, what's coming up in my mind is actually people from the Philippines speak English very well. Because
to some extent that is somehow still true.
Yeah, I think it is very true because I had many experience to talk to people from Philippines before because I was in Australian online schools for 9 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I noticed that they speak English very well. I mean, they are very confident about speaking English. Of course, they make several mistakes in conversation, in terms of grammatical aspects, grammatical errors, but still, they speak very well and good at communicating with people and conveying their thoughts.
That's true.
What do you think, they speak English so well because they are also, learning English as a second language, right?
That is
not a mother tongue. English is not a mother tongue.
It's not. It's considered as our second language.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think they speak English so well?
Well, way back to elementary school, high school, and university, so the English language is considered part of the curriculum, and majority, more than 90% of the subjects are taught in English. Math, science, geometry, others, they are all taught in English during my time. But I think around a few years ago, there was like some kind of change that instead of English in elementary, some subjects should be taught in our mother tongue.
Okay.
Yes, but during my time and the previous generation, everything was English. In English, to be
People have no
specific.
choice but to speak English in day-to-day life.
Yes. So not everyone was so happy about that because it's a foreign language and everybody would question, why are we studying in English? I mean, we are not,
Okay.
Yeah.
As a Japanese, we also receive several years of education for English in school. Around 9 years, like this, 9 years, 49 years of English education in school. But in the reality, most Japanese are not good at speaking English. What do you think difference between us?
So, as I have mentioned, English was considered as the medium of instruction. Medium of instruction, and then the application was also in English. So that means when we do presentation in schools, reporting, even when the teacher asks us questions, we have to answer back in English if the subject is taught in that matter. And maybe aside from that, the extra curriculum activities, we encourage students. We have a lot of clubs focusing on different activities in which we can use the language itself. So even if it's a science club, for example, and we have to introduce some sort of experiments or show our cute little inventions, we have to present it in English in that sense. So we had a lot of opportunities to use the language in like more realistic way. Probably that could be the answer to your question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You're more in the situation that you're required to speak English every day.
Yes, that's right.
Make you speak English very well, very French.
I mean, without those experiences, maybe I would not be very confident to say that I would be a good speaker this time.
Okay, I guess what you said is right. I think that's one of the factors. But yeah, in my opinion, there may be another factor.
Okay.
This is related to more like, mindset, Japanese mindset.
Okay.
I feel like I'm not 100% sure because I'm not an expert on this field, but I guess people sometimes, how can I say, try to be perfect in terms of speaking. They try to pass the perfect English, perfect pronunciation while in the conversation. For example, they're too much afraid of making, minor mistakes in the conversation while they're speaking.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. For example, so interestingly, sometimes people try to do two things at the same time while in the conversation. One is, of course, construct the English sentence inside their head.
Right.
Another is to pick up more natural phrases and natural expression for native speakers.
Yeah, like multitasking. That's very difficult, I know.
Yeah, so that's why, it may cause a big pause in the conversation.
That is true, like the fluency and the flow of ideas is actually affected in that sense. So only if you had that intermediate level or advanced level in English that you wouldn't hesitate and you wouldn't mind about this thing, but for like your in the early stages or like beginner, that would really affect the flow.
Yeah, right. Yes. So unless it is critical, you don't care too much about your grammatical aspects while in conversation. This is my opinion. You should focus more on conveying the thoughts. How to effectively convey your thoughts in English.
Well, there's this saying that Filipinos will totally agree with. Confidence is about everything.
They're really confident about what they're saying.
Like even if we can like just contract very simple phrases, for us we're so proud of that. Like if we could like say hi or hello to a foreigner when there's like some tourists, oh my god, I spoke English, oh my god, I'm so great. Just confidence. Confidence is key.
Yeah, I think so. As you can understand from hearing my English is not perfect. Not a perfect one. I make a lot of mistakes while in conversation, including grammatical mistakes. But it's a minor one, right? Who cares? Yeah.
I haven't noticed anything yet, so you're still okay.
should be confident.
Yes.
That's what I want to say for all of Japanese English learners.
Yeah, I actually always tell my students like, okay, we can think about those slips and errors later, but what I would like you is to have that courage to start talking or speaking up for yourself, talk about your favorite stuff and things. I wouldn't ask you about your opinion or this. Let's talk about yourself first. And when I see that they have that confidence, then that's the time it's good to insert those slips, those mispronunciations, for example, and suggest much better grammar structure or something.
I don't say you don't have to care grammatical aspects at all. Yeah, you should care to some extent.
Of course.
Yeah, to some extent is fine, right? Not to be perfect. At least you have basic understanding of grammatical aspects. So you can, construct your own sentences to convey your ideas. Of course, the people around you can easily understand what you are talking. By the way, there are several English tests, right? English exams such as TOEIC, TOEFL, IELTS, something like that.
Right.
Do you think it's effective to study for these English exams to improve your English skills?
Effective in a sense because they are required by some institutions. Yes. Yeah, to some extent, because as I have mentioned, if you would use it as a tool to improve your English, then maybe you that is not the right material, because you should know your purpose first before you find out the material. But since they are required by some institution, then I have had some students taking ACAN or IELTS and TOEFL then they still need like some sort of support, because those are not interactive, conversational, or communicative materials. They are not effective as your only study material.
Well,
yes.
Yeah. Combining the several, materials and textbook can be the best way.
Of course, it should be like holistic.
Yeah,
yes, not just like one way.
Have you taken Martin?
Yes, I was required to take some of the tests, not only in this company but in the previous companies. So yes, I know that dreaded feeling of taking the test for more than an hour or more. Yes.
What score is required to be an English teacher?
Oh, that is controversial. The schools would not really require, because for most language schools, to have a bachelor degree.
Oh, okay.
Yes, if you have a bachelor degree in a university where the official medium of instruction is English, then you are qualified to teach English.
Bachelor degree of everything, every subject.
Technically, yes. So in the case in the Philippines, since most of the universities taught in English, then anyone who has graduated in a 4-year degree is qualified to teach English.
Okay, but you said in the past you were required to take some of the exam to enter to the company?
Not really to enter the company. I have already entered the company, and then just for the experience.
Okay.
And the second one, before coming here to Japan, there was some sort of pre-requirement, so I had to take some of the tests.
Yeah. Interesting. What's that? TOEIC?
Yes, TOEIC and IELTS in the past, and what else? TOEFL in the past. Or in class, we are asked by our teacher to read text aloud. I think Japanese students also have that experience. And then, of course, English is not my first language. It's not my mother tongue. So there are times that I would read words in a funny way or in an awkward way. And yeah, some of my classmates would sometimes laugh at me because on how different I sound. So I did practice a lot on reading them aloud. I even asked my mom to listen to me as I read my book in English loudly. Then I would ask her do I sound weird? Do I sound like native? Then my mom would say, why don't you try to ask your cousins who are high school or university, whose English is much better. Then I would go to their house and then ask them, I have a speech contest coming up, so please listen to me. Because we don't have the recording thing at that time, so I cannot even record myself. So I need to rely on someone's ears. And through that, I actually realized how important pronunciation is, because if your pronunciation is not good, or if you mispronounce things, you are not understood by people. No matter how perfect your grammar was or how fancy the words you use, but if you mispronounce those words, your beautiful sentence and fancy vocabulary will be a waste. So I did focus on that one. And when I was a new English teacher, I was actually commented that my pronunciation was very clear and pretty good, which is very good for Japanese students. And I thought, oh, all of my efforts paid off, because I practiced a lot when I was in high school and university to read things aloud, listen to. I started watching YouTube videos and shadowing a little bit of my favorite actors whom I watch in movies. Okay, pronunciation is important. At the end of the day, to be understood and to speak clearly, not just beautifully, but to speak clearly that everybody would understand you is important. Yes.
Do you recommend all English learners to start with pronunciation for improving English?
To start with pronunciation, to make it part of their English learning process, yes, I would totally, definitely recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah, to be understood will always be, part of learning any language.
how should we know pronunciation? What is the best way to pronounce?
Well, I think taking a more tailor-made or customized lessons, focusing on that matter, and it should be like an intensive sort of teaching or classes, like consecutively. Yeah. Then of course after that, they still have to continue on practicing, applying it on classes.
I see. And it can be done in Hatsune, right?
Of course. Yes, possibly with our intensive curriculum, that is very possible and achievable. Yes.
Thanks.